Okay, I think it's 9 now. Can we start? Joining us. This is our Friday technology sharing. So ICCA initiate to conduct technology sharing every Friday in the morning. So we can give update about technology. And today we will talking about the Chatbots AI. It will be presented by my friend from AVAYA, Juliet Lee and Joshua. So later on, we have some overview about how it work, and you can ask question to the participant as well. Okay, thank you. Good morning, Juliet. You are in Jakarta or in Singapore?
Singapore, Pak.
Oh,
Yeah.
in Singapore, yeah. How is Singapore now?
Good, good. It's a bit,
Good, yeah. It's
it's
raining?
it's getting to the rainy season, so it's raining here and there. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for helping us to participate for this technology sharing. And with me as well, we have Joshua Doni. You are based in Australia. You are in Sydney or Melbourne?
In Sydney.
Sydney, yeah. Who is Sydney now?
It's beautiful. Summer's an amazing place for Sydney. So
Oh,
yeah,
summer
it's
is
nice.
coming, yeah?
Yeah,
Or getting hot.
it's nice. I love the heat.
Okay, thank you. Uh, I think this is first time for Joshua to join with us. For Juliet, I think she don't need to introduce herself because she already quite familiar with Indonesian market. So I give opportunity to Joshua to introduce yourself and what is your opinion about Chatbots AI. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Joshua.
sure. So I've been with AVAYA for 12 years now. I've had many different roles within AVAYA. I used to install devices many years ago. I've been in sales. I've been in pre-sales. I've been an architect. My current role is a product manager for AXP. So within the AXP stream, I look after AI, self-service, and routing. So any new features that you need and that we deem them as something that we can't live without, come have a chat to me around the AI self-service components and routing components, and I'll see where we can slip them into the roadmap. More than happy to have a chat about new innovative features. If you've got something which customers can't live without, I want to hear about them because I want to make them AVAYA features so that all of our AVAYA friends can use them.
I
Yeah.
see. Thank you, Joshua.
And I just want to add that's the reason why I get Joshua into this, because I usually be the one that tells him, hey, my Indonesian customer need ABCD. It's good that bring him in the table so he hear directly from our people, right? Like Indonesia, what are the top things or the things that they're asking? I think that's a good thing for me as well.
Thank you, Julie, to add on. I may ask about why do you think the chatbot is become the what is the tools for contact center the requirement?
It's a great question. From a chatbot perspective, it didn't exist properly sort of 5 years ago. So it's matured a lot. I know the Indonesian market doesn't have a lot of bots supporting them at the moment. There's obviously a lot of people coming out at the moment with that support. You're able to do a lot of self-service now, which you couldn't do within that messaging piece. So you're able to do things now that you previously couldn't do, and we've got some customers that do up to 80% of completions within self-service with bot interactions now. And it's not just chatbots, it's also voice bots. So when we're talking about chatbots, we should always remember that we should be looking at both interactions. So it's not just the digital component, but it's also the voice interactions. And with our integration with Google Dialogflow, we can actually have the same bot doing both channels, so digital and the voice.
Okay. Thank you, Joshua. I just want to clarify because in the market maybe there is so many chatbot, yeah. Maybe there is a simple one. There is a, you mentioned about AI. So what is the difference? What do you think?
We as Avaya have made a decision to back Google. So we've got Google 100% natively integrated into our platform. So if you come to us, we can provide you a solution which allows you to quickly get up and running with a bot, whether it's text-based or voice-based. I know there's lots of other players in the market. From our perspective, Google is one of the best in the market. There's a couple of reasons for that. They've got large data sets, so they're able to create really good models around what people are actually saying and understanding what they're saying, and then translating that into intents and entities so the actual bots perform better.
I see.
There's things like they're heavily invested in language development. You'll see that they're creating generative AI models around Indonesian components, so they can understand Indonesian websites, documents, things like that, to process that around generative AI. So they can do the generative AI components around that as well. We do have on our roadmap third-party bot integration, but it's on our roadmap. I don't have a fixed date for it yet. There's a couple of things which I need to get sorted out first, but we do have that third-party bot integration. For those bot integrations which you want to use, which are not Google. I understand that not everyone wants to use Google. I'm a fan of Google, but I understand that not everyone else is. So we will have that third-party bot integration. I still need to get a timeline as to when that's going to be available, but it is on our roadmap.
Okay, so you combine Avaya with Google to have a chatbot AI, yeah. Okay, but we have to give Juliet introduction because okay, let's Juliet, please introduce yourself and what is your opinion about the chatbot AI? Go ahead.
Okay, I just look up on the audience. I think maybe 50% I can recognize your name, like in and out. But then, yeah, I just introduce myself again. So I'm Juliet. So I work with Avaya. I think it's kind of like the 5th year. Yeah, but I have across different contact center providers around. So it's been more than 10 years. So I think, yeah, and I'm based in Singapore. I'm used to be Indonesian. Now I'm not Indonesian anymore. So to speak Bahasa, I'm okay, but to converse and present, I think I would think that English will be better. But if any questions you need to ask in Bahasa, I will make sure that I can answer your language or your questions, and I can answer in Bahasa. So if needed, okay. Okay, so I think there are some comments from me from the Chatbot AI and so forth, because I think the Chatbot AI market in Indonesia is like what Joshua mentioned, that it's already been there, and things what I'm seeing that how our Indonesia grow the chatbot market. To start with, I've seen a lot of our clients and also our prospects, and also have already implement multiple type of the chatbot. And one more important thing is like what Joshua mentioned, Indonesia, Bahasa Indonesia is the most the element when you have a chatbot. So I think when we're looking into a chatbot and AI and things like that, yes, for the chatbot, the text, I've seen maybe 80% of our clients already have their chatbot somewhere, either in a mobile app, either in their website, or even, they implement it into the messaging app like WhatsApp, all these things. And now I think the trend is going to the talkbot. I saw that quite numbers of the customers is been going into a talkbot journey, where they call it like a talkbot, or in IVR we call it like the voice bot. I think these things are growing. That's what with the benefits and things like that. I see this trend will be continues to happen. That's why we are here today to share with you what AVAYA can do, and maybe we want to hear from you as well. What do you think about if you have started that journey? Yeah.
Okay. And how do you think Chatbot AI work for the contact center?
For me or Joshua?
Maybe both of you. Yeah. Starting here. Yeah.
Okay, so how Chatbot AI works in contact center? I think they are before the chatbot implemented. I think the most important that I always try to understand from customer is that what do you want to achieve from a chatbot implementation? Because to start a chatbot is not difficult. To be honest, if you ask Joshua to create a chatbot in 5 minutes, I can tell you he did in front of me before. Julia, I can create, chatbot in 5 minutes. And that's not the issue. But I think the thing is that what is the objective of contact center when it comes into implementing chatbot?
Yeah.
The first thing that we will look at is that are we first thing trying to basically do a use case where the chatbot is to help to improve the self-service. I think that's the most important part, because when you want a chatbot means that you are trying to do something to help your contact center agent, because chatbot means is to reduce your contact center agent maybe the load. That's where we convert some of the what we call it like maybe low value interactions into chatbots, so that it can be automated or it can be automatically done by self-service and completed without have to involve any agent.
Okay, I see.
Yeah. Second part is that when we're looking into converting some of the, of course, that the first part can be the self-service to cover, most of the easy or to media, even can do certain things of transactions if that is allowed by the regulatory and so forth. But I think to start with, I see most of the chatbot are actually addressing most of the information inquiry, maybe some complaint handling, and maybe some use case that doesn't really have to go into a transaction. And then when there is a need for transaction or maybe higher value, that's where the human has to be intersect into the conversation. I think that is where I see the value about the chatbot inside the contact center. And obviously the objective is not to replace the human, it's not replace the agent, but actually it works together with the agent to deliver what the contact center, in the end of the day, the KPI that contact centers has to be achieved. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
How about
100%
Joshua?
agree. Chatbots are not here to replace humans. They're to supplement. I see too many customers going out and trying to automate 100% of their load. And what happens is their customers become frustrated because they can't get their answers that they need out of the chatbot, because the chatbot may not be configured to do it. They may not be asking the chatbot the correct answers, the correct questions. So I do see chatbots and humans working together. Collect the information which you need before transferring it to an agent. All the things like your name, your address, those sorts of things, what your problem is. And then transfer it to an agent to have the agent not answer the phone, not answer the message about who you are and what you want. You should have already done that within a bot. So try and live harmoniously with the bots. They're not here to replace agents. They're here to supplement, help, and assist.
Okay.
From my experience, I see a lot of customers who are going down the route of trying chatbots. What they need to do is they need to try small components first. See what's successful, and then build on that. And the smaller, the better. And I've seen some organizations do internal use cases first and before they try external. But they all start small and then build out.
I see.
And another thing which Juliet raised was process. Make sure that you've got the processes correct. So just because you've got a process in your current solution doesn't mean that needs to be the same process in your chatbot. I've got one customer that automated insurance claims over a bot. And their biggest complaint was that the customers didn't understand that they'd processed their insurance claim correctly because it was too easy.
Yeah.
That's where we need customer experience to be. We
Okay.
need customer experience to be simple, easy to use. It
Yeah.
becomes a pleasure to use as opposed to a pain of going around and around circles in a chatbot.
Okay. To clarify you mentioned about the start small and make it process better. It seems that collaboration between vendors and user has to be mandatory because sometimes when you are implementing contact center, it's like turnkey, just install all the thing and make it as a lot of features that you want. So, but what you say is mentioned about that we need to start small. For that, do you think that user need to be able to customize themselves for the chatbot?
My preference is always for the users to modify and customize their own bots.
I see.
They know their business the best. And as I said before, this is not replacing humans. We still need the humans in there to assist the bots and make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, make sure there's nothing wrong with it. So yes, 100% agree. We need those people involved, and the best people to do them are the people that run the business.
Yeah. Okay. So what do you think about the IVR? Because some people said that chatbot become replacement for the IVR. So what do you think?
It depends on what type of IVR we're talking about.
Okay.
A lot of the IVRs which I'm doing at the moment are all voice bot interactions, which is where I believe a lot of the self-service components should be heading.
Yeah.
The days of asking for 9-digit banking IDs, I don't know what my banking ID is, and I'll never know it through an IVR. But yes, there is a lot of similarity between IVRs and chatbots. They are in the self-service realm. So yes, they are self-service. We need to use them wisely, make sure that we do them with a customer's view as well as an agent's view.
It seems that you already start what is the best way for the end user, for your customer? Maybe you have sample of that they start for the chatbot.
Some of our customers use it for their internal help desk.
Okay,
and
okay.
So they log their tickets, they get updates, all of those sorts of things, just to learn the tools, understand how it works, understand how to tune it, make sure they get the best out of those bots. And then they move on to other customer provided use cases. And even so, the customer which I talked about who automated their insurance claims too well, they've got a massive insurance organization, and they only automated the insurance claim. Sorry?
Go ahead. It's
Sorry.
just
They only automated the component for insurance claims for mobile phones. So they started off with mobile phones to start with before they moved on to everything else. They learned a lot from that initial component. They had to change a couple of their promptings and things like that around that learning. So yeah, start small, start with a business which is not going to be so critical to your organization if it goes wrong. So one of the CEOs I once talked to said he wants small explosions. He can deal with small explosions. If something goes wrong in a small scale, it's much easier to handle than a major big explosion.
I see. So it's been that you agree that we can utilize chatbot first with agent or internal process, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Most major organizations have internal help desks. My computer doesn't work. My phone doesn't work. I need this new piece of software. We all log tickets in some way, shape, or form. I know AVAYA has a solution via a website. It's not the greatest. I'd love them to put a bot in front of that. It's
okay.
the process of doing that, but yeah, we're doing it.
And then what next they have to consider when they already have a small thing, and what next do you think?
Just keep building on the use cases which you've got.
Okay.
Once you've got your small use case built out, you understand how the technology works, the people that are tuning it understand how to best get the performance out of the solution. Keep building on that.
Okay. And in terms of AVAYA itself, what do you think the plan of AVAYA with collaborating with Google to help customer in terms of the chatbot?
So AVAYA have natively integrated for chatbot and voice bots. We're going to be going GA with our agent assist component, which is going to be assisting agents with AI in real time. So as the agents are typing away or talking to a customer, the suggestions will come up as to how the agent should respond to that response, whether it's a knowledge-based article or FAQ. So that's going GA in January for text and March for voice. And then we've got the Insights tool. The Insights tool is the tool which we use to process all of that audio and the text to make sure that the bots are performing how they should be. So from a integration perspective, we've gone all the way from the start of the process, the middle and the end of the process with the Google components. We're fully integrated with those components already.
Okay. And what do you think the challenge for AVAYA implementing chatbot or with your current? Maybe you, Juliet, can add as well.
Yeah, Juliet, take it away.
Go ahead. What is yeah, because you said that customer asking this, and this, and so become confused. So what do you think the challenge for the customer?
Okay, so I think the challenge is different for a chatbot and a voice bot. Okay, for chatbot, maybe if I would start to say that yes, our customer has implemented the chatbot maybe for the first starting. The starting point maybe when they go into just pick up 10 use case, it's implemented and everything. But I think the challenge here is really to keep ongoing, like growing, and with the people that typically that we see also depends. If my client, what I see that my clients that are successfully implementing chatbot is where they also have a group of people. They have maybe not dedicated, but it's a group of people that understand about the bot and building the bot and then tuning the bot, compared to they let the bot being managed by a third party, or maybe not within the organization, or or maybe they can outsource as well. So when this point is big in the middle, where no one maintain the bot, and then something is, it's not about the technology that the bot cannot do ABCD, or because the use case, the everything, and the dynamics of the use case is also keep changing. I'm just giving an example that for the organizations, they are having very static information. I'm maybe like more like I don't know whether I should say maybe easier when have some like government agencies where they have certain quite static process, static information, that product that didn't change. But with a company that have a product change every other month or every other week, like banking, they have a new product launch, and for telco, they have a new iPhone, new Samsung launch every other week. But it's quite tense for the team unless they have a dedicated. Else, typically the bot will become will become like the man in front the shop. It's just like everyone start to screaming at the person, and then it will just go haywire. So I think it's to balance up in between your business needs, and also what you want the bots to do. If the bot is really can only manage maybe 10 to 20, 30% of the inquiry, let it go to agent. So don't sacrifice customer because that you think you want your bot to be successful when your bot is not ready. I think it's a balancing up in between the maintenance of the bot and the agent and the human communication. That's the first part. Second is for the voice bot perspective. What I've seen is that just now we touched about IVR. I think there is also a very critical function where IVR due that probably bot cannot, or maybe not in the stage to do yet. I'm giving an example from a perspective when I think there's implementations where we talk about a hybrid implementation where I have IVR, I have a hotline that needs to be run 24/7. And it maybe it's a tier one or in the company it's a severity one applications that need to be there for 24/7 without fail. Maybe voice bot can be failed because voice bot is running on behind the scenes and doing some integrations to the backend. So the IVR, though that we fully automated it, I still think we need some IVR to be there in the case when bot fail. So it kind of like become a failover of a bot. So at the time you still anything that is bot failure, you can also transfer to agent. It's just like in the chatbot itself, you can also transfer to agent when your bot fails. So I think that is important of the IVR role still in the contact center. That's the reason why I always think that depends on the use case, depends on the size, complexity, and the severity of the business itself.
Okay, so if I can capture from your explanation that the challenge now for chatbot because your customer always asking a lot of things immediately, yeah. So they don't want to start small, yeah. So they want to implement it all the things at the first stage, and after that they complain about the tool is not working as expected. What do you think, Joshua?
Um, I don't know what to say around that. We need to have enough experience within the organization to tune that bot to make sure it's doing what it needs to do.
I see.
If the organization is experienced enough and has enough knowledge and understanding of exactly what their customers are going to be asking, maybe they are experienced enough to go a sort of a bigger implementation. More than happy to support an ambitious person. That's they may come unstuck. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Joshua. So, what do you think organization need in implementation of the chatbot in terms of people or in their organization? What do
Okay.
you think they need to?
So they need someone to understand what processes are in place,
Okay,
understand what is actually needed to achieve those processes.
I see.
Once we've got that, we can design a bot around those processes and ask the right questions to get that information from the customers.
Okay,
So that's the analyst piece of it. And those processes may be listening into calls, understanding what agents are continually being asked, those sorts of things. Or it might be someone just working within the contact center that understands exactly what happens and knows exactly how many times these things get asked continually.
Mm,
Then on the other side of it is once we've deployed the bot, we need someone to make sure that the bot is behaving itself.
I see.
Making sure that it is responding appropriately. If someone asks a question which it doesn't understand, we should understand it. Maybe we need to tune our bots appropriately to make sure that it does understand those questions which the customers are asking and say, this is the question which we're asking from the customer. This is where you need to go. So it's sort of the front end and the back end need to work together in that way.
So if I can summary, you need the process analytics, so understanding about that. You need someone to test the process, to and of course the development of the technology chatbot itself need to be doing something. So 3 person with different capabilities you mentioned, Joshua. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Juliet, you want to add on?
Yeah, I think then the last part, of course, is the understanding about the technology as well. Just like you mentioned, process people, and I think the persons that is required to also do a kind of like integration to the different systems, right? Because when the bot growing, I recognize that something when it's good, the other part of the organizations will want to take part into the integrations. And I think sometimes what is missing in the organizations that come into the chatbot is that I want to say something very upfront is that the plan to have a continuous investment, right? Because I think sometimes they got from us is that AVAYA, can you provide a SOW or let's say a budget or how much you need to implement for chatbot? We
I
give
see.
price and then we quote them a price, and then when they start implementing, and then after a year they say that hey, our bot is not perfect, because there is no ending journey of this bot. To be honest, there is
I
no
see.
ending. Once you started, this is continuous investment. So
I
for organizations that start, yes, they have the people, but sometimes I found that they maybe the continuous investment, because the system has to be sometimes it's to be upgraded and things like that. So the continuous investment on this technology needs to be planned every year, so that it makes sure that they have the capacity, they have the continuous, and not let the bot to be just then first year, second year, third year there is no improvement because they didn't really put the budget to continue investment on the bot. Yeah.
Okay. If then may I ask question, how do you measure the successful of the chatbot? If we have a stages, Joshua, you want to?
We have a tool, well, we leverage the Google tools, Insights, and essentially that pulls out interactions which did not go down the right path or deviated, and people can go in and understand what those conversations were, understand how to tune those conversations so they could go the right direction.
I see.
Obviously, we don't want to do that automatically because people could be asking questions which are not relevant, and they're asking the wrong questions to the wrong bot. It's like having a conversation where it's just not relevant at all. So we do need those humans involved. As I said before, AI is here to help humans. It's not here to replace. We still need those humans.
So do you want to mention what is indicator that they need to measure when they want to measure the successful of the chatbot?
A successful measurement of a chatbot is traditionally measured by the completion within the bot. So
Okay.
the interaction completions, everything is handled within a bot.
I see.
So if you want to do a certain interaction and you're able to do it in the bot, fantastic, that's a completion.
Okay. Completion of the interaction by bot. Yeah.
Yes.
Juliet, you want to add on?
That's for the bot perspective. And then when we have the measurement, I think the fallback, right? Like the fallback, the fail, maybe like 50% is completion, 50%. I think the next thing we need to know what are the categories that it's failed. So we need to know the breakdown. Okay, of course, those successful one means that the intent, because in chatbot we talk about intent, utterance, and everything. So for the intent part, we always say that okay, those intents that has been covered by the bot, and what are the fallback, what are the fails that is not being covered. So that is another thing that it needs to be measured. In a sense, is that those information has to be taken out again, like what is the percentage of the failure part, and out of those failures one, how many percent that fall into the similar intent. And then that's where comes into the next development, like when we do agile or do like phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, we have to look at what is the fallback, and then we do another round of the use case, or like brainstorming. Okay, we should focus on the top intent that is not being covered. I think that's the best way to build bot as well, by let the bot I'm not saying that let the bot fail, but let the bots go into a real life, and then let the real customer feedback into the bot, and then where the bot we got all the statistics, and then that's where we do our next. It's not that we're internally we think that the bot should do A, B, C, D. We don't have to look at the analytics that is really provided by the bot. So I think that is few metrics that is really important. I think the last one, maybe if I will have to look at as well, I think it's also to see the reusable like a flow.
Yeah.
What I is that sometimes multiple different intent or different when we start, we just very directly go into a use case. But when we have 10, 20, 30 use case, we have to look at what is repeatable. So you have a common module. So you don't need to build the bot every time, from the intent, from the, we will roughly know the bot is always go to this flow, means that maybe the authentication flow and things like that. We need to make sure that all these flow are common, and also you have a common module that can be applied when you develop a new use case. Else you will spend 3, 4, 4 times just to do the same thing. When you need a change, you have to do 1, 3, 4 times, depends on when the bot growing up, it is going to be a madness. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
And actually, do we need to measure how many people access at the same time for the chatbot and how long they stay with the chatbot?
Yeah, I think that is more on the usage perspective.
Yeah.
Because typically, if you say how many sessions that maybe like interactions of Google can manage, that is, I think that there is unlimited in that sense, but there is always sessions perspective that we have to measure that is also related to the sessions that need to integrate with the backend. I think I have some challenge with my customers in Indonesia. One of the customer in Indonesia is that they found out that when there is a high or the peak time,
Yeah.
the bot one time can have more than 10,000 people that is coming in. Just giving example, when a new iPhone launch, everyone will come into the chatbot and flux the chatbot. And when there is the capacity and the processing measurements that will go into failure, then the bot will stuck somewhere because of the capacity of the bot itself.
I see. Okay, it seems that we have already so many participants here, and it's time for Joshua to present his presentation, so we get better understanding how technology working for the Chatbot AI. Do you want to start now, Joshua? I give you
sure.
10 minutes to present, and we continue with discussion. As well, for all the participants, you can activate the caption translation because the tools is provided with this one. Thank you, Kirich, to provide the Zoom. Hopefully, it help us to deliver better understanding about this technology sharing today. Go ahead, Joshua, your presentation.
Thanks. So today I see a lot of customers, and they commonly have very common issues in that their CX is nowhere near where it could be. A lot of our customers despise ringing contact centers. They despise contacting contact centers because it is their last port of call. They've tried to do everything else themselves. I know personally, I very rarely ring a contact center, even though I'm a contact center person. It's the last port of call. I try and self-service as much as I possibly can, and it's very common throughout our customers. And there's a range of reasons for this, and you can pick them yourselves. You all know that you've transferred interactions from one agent to another agent because they've been routed the indirect way, or those agents are saying, "Who are you and what do you want?" as soon as the interaction starts. So you can pick your poison. I know that all of you will have one of these issues in your contact center in some way, shape, or form. What we're trying to do, and as I said previously, is we're trying to change processes. If you need assistance with changing processes, we at Avaya have our ACES team, and our ACES team have consultants. Those consultants can take you on that journey from where you are today all the way to the bot component and everywhere in between there. So they're able to assess what you've got today. They're able to reimagine those processes and try and establish how we could better address those processes with new modern CX or customer experience. We can help you implement it. We can monitor it and evaluate it. As Juliet said before, if you want to go and monitor it and evaluate it, fantastic. That's even better for us. It means that you as an organization will become stronger with that bot interaction. And then obviously reassessing. Just because you've deployed a bot and you've put it out into the world doesn't mean that you should leave it. We should go and reassess it. I'd recommend that you as organizations do this. If you need help in any way, shape, or form, our AVAYA team can help you here. From a bot component, we at AVAYA have integrated all the way from the start of interactions all the way to the end of interactions. So we do the virtual agents. The virtual agents are the bots. So we do the voice bots and the text bots, or the chat bots. We do Agent Assist. That Agent Assist is coming out in January for text and March for voice. And then the Insights component is that tool that which we use to analyze all of those interactions through bots to make sure that those bots are performing correctly. So these are all Google tools which we've integrated into our solution. From a generative AI perspective, generative AI is taking over the world. It's definitely got some use cases, some merit in chatbots and voice bots. What we find is that generative AI is twice as expensive as conversational AI or traditional chatbots. So what we do is we essentially allow customers to mix and match those interactions into a single flow. So if your use case requires to start off with conversational AI chatbot and then a generative AI component and then a conversational component, we'll only charge you for the conversational component which you've used and the generative AI component which you've used as well. But we can seamlessly add in the generative AI component into any of the Google Dialogflow bots. The reason why we've chosen Google, there's a couple of reasons. The language support for one, it allows us to cover a large percentage of our customers. It supports Indonesian for voice and text bots, as well as the generative AI component. The generative AI component is currently in preview, but we can get you access to it if you want to have a play with it. Preview means it's sort of it's post-testing, but not quite ready for GA. I should clarify that. Google are definitely leaders in the AI space. They've got lots of different models. Their generative AI story has been going on for many, many years. Their conversational AI is just as well-rounded as well. They've got lots of data. They are able to get data from all your Google searches, all your mobile phone. You can't see it. Sorry. Yeah, all your mobile phone interactions as well. They're heavily invested in contact center. So from a contact center space, they've added things like voice biometrics. So voice biometrics natively gets imported into the flows within the bots as well. So there's a lot of really good reasons why we've partnered with Google. As I said previously, we do have third-party bot integrations. They will be on the they are on the roadmap. I don't have a date as to when they're going to be delivered yet. Okay. Let me find my next screen. That's not it.
Yep.
Okay.
We are seeing some of the, yeah. Okay.
Perfect. So this is a sample website. It's one of the ones which we commonly use for demos. And in here, I can start an interaction. This is a asynchronous message, very similar to WhatsApp messaging. It stores the interactions from your previous interactions and then allows you to continue on those conversations. Oh, helps if I can spell. This bot, which I've created, is a very, very simple bot. It has a generative AI component, which points back to this website. And I've essentially pointed it to this URL, and it is able to understand what's happened on that website and give me summarizations of what that is. So how can I okay.
Maybe you can zoom that part. No.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Now the text is playing up. But anyway, it's simply that the bot is interacting with me in, doesn't like zooming. It's interacting with me using generative AI. I'm also able to put in intents. The transfer intent is there as well. So let me pull out that bot quickly. This is my bot. So my bot has one real intent in it, and it's the transfer to agent. And all of the other components are done with data store. This data store is a generative AI component. We can point it to a website. We can do unstructured documents, things like PDFs, presentations, Word documents, even just a CSV file. So we can upload these sorts of things to Google and use them as our bot components from a generative AI perspective. FAQs are very similar. We're able to upload those components as well. So from a data stores component, let me click on that. Oh, I've got to log in. Sorry, it just timed out. So these are the data stores which we can use through generative AI. When I create a new data store, I do have the choice of any of the following. So I can create based on websites. I can pull it from a query within Google, documents and components which are uploaded to cloud storage, and we can pull it via API as well. And they're the data sources which I've used. This is how I've created that data source within my bot. Okay, that's essentially my demo. It's a relatively simple demo. From what I should do is show you how to use it within AXP. So within AXP, we've got a special node in here called Add Virtual Agent. So we can configure up the virtual agent, and then once we've configured the virtual agent, we drop the virtual agent into our flow, specify which agent is used and what language it's used. And that's as simple as it gets. This virtual agent component can be used, sorry, this entire flow from an AXP perspective can be used for not only voice, but text as well. So this flow in particular is a text flow. The flow for a voice is almost identical. The start node's a little bit different, but the actual flows is identical. So adding it to your existing AXP tenant is relatively simple. If you've still got a on-premise solution with Experience Portal, the Experience Portal solution is very, very similar in the way that you can add it. It's a native integration. You configure up the integration and with a phone number, and away you go.
I think there's a question, Josh. Since we are here, right? They are asking about the capability of introducing language, which is Bahasa, into the bot. Do you have any quick things that can show, or you can answer probably from your experience?
Okay. So it's got Indonesian, and it's got Indonesian for the text. So if I scroll up, it's got the text component here as well as the voice component. What was the other language that you had? Sorry?
It's just bahasa Indonesia. Of course, Indonesia we have different. I think
Bahasa.
it's different.
Oh,
Yeah.
I can't answer that. I don't know. I can
No,
go find out.
for the Indonesia part, definitely this is the language. But we have different like local dialects that
Yes.
normally it's used in conversations. That's something people. So I think the thing here sometimes is that they will be also very interested to know like when we have different combinations between the both bahasa Indonesia like the normal and some dialects and parts. So how's the bot taking that conversations and intent, right? I think from this perspective, I believe Google has also on the top of the recognition of the language already. So whatever that is being spoke outside Bahasa Indonesia, or maybe the bot, it will be go into a tuning where people, I mean, as a person that go into tuning, the bot can also add on all those different keywords and the different familiar keyword language to be in the bot, right?
Yeah. Do you have how many percentage accuracy of the chatbot?
That's a very interesting question. So the percentage of accuracy is not only how accurate the solution speech to text the user's input or understands the input using the natural language, but also the training phrases. So it is highly dependent on how the solution is configured, as well as the actual underlying solution as well.
Mm.
Mm.
And how long it takes, do you think that before the learning curve of the chatbot? What is the best learning curve period?
So that is highly dependent on how well you've set up the bot to start with. So if you've done a really good job of understanding your use case, and you've created the training phrases appropriately for your users, the ability to get your bot to where it needs to be will be a lot better.
I see.
So we see some customers do what we call Wizard of Ozzing. I don't know if you know Wizard of Oz, but what they do is they get two people and they sit them in seats facing away from each other.
Okay.
And one pretends to be the bot and one pretends to be the person. And they just interact like they would as if they were asking for a use case, or one pretends they're a customer and one pretends they're a bot, and they just interact. And through that interaction, they can understand a lot more around what the actual questions are going to be used for that use case.
So it seems that the process of learning has to be part of the strategy of the chatbot implementation. And with AVAYA, do you provide consultancy for the customer during the period of the learning curve?
Yes.
Okay.
We've got a new consultancy section which has started up, which is all about process enabling, modernizing a lot of the components, and that's along the lines of where we're going with our AXP Connect story as well. A lot of our customers
I see.
need some assistance with that, and that's why that organization has been around.
I see. So some people may be worried about the implementation of chatbot because replacing some agent, but you already mentioned about that. In terms of that, how do you think in the futures, moving forward for AVAYA, for the chatbot itself?
I believe chatbots
to
will
keep people okay.
Chatbots will be here. They're already here. I'm
There
seeing a
is-
lot of chatbots in the market today already. There's questions as to how good some of the chatbots are,
yeah,
but we're not going to have that discussion here. What I see as the next iteration is where the agents are talking to customers. We will have bots listening to those conversations in real time, providing more suggestions, making sure the agents are saying what they're supposed to be saying, making sure they're not over talking customers, those sorts of things. So that's the next iteration of bots and how they're going to interact.
I see.
Yeah, very interesting.
Okay, it seems that so many participants want to have a question. Please, if you have a question, we can open mic, I think. Just ask directly, or I can read from the text question here. There is a question from Sudivyo and Sahresa. Actually, for Sudivyo asking about the dialect for local. And then Sahresa asking about how to reduce the to increase accuracy of the answer of the chatbot.
Yes. So a lot of that accuracy comes around how you create those intents and the training phrases for those intents. For the generative AI components, one of the things which Google does a very good job of is it summarizes those components which you give the bot. So you give it your documentation, and it will summarize it and then pull that back. So it does a very good job of that. I'm not going to say it's 100% good. 100% accurate, but it is very, very good at what it does.
I see. And how do you what is integration between, because so many chatbot, maybe information out there, some information out there is not accurate and something like that. How we anticipate about the misinformation for the chatbot?
From a generative AI component, if the response is wrong, we need to change those documents which are being leveraged to create those responses. So if we've pointed it to a website or loaded a document and Google has misinterpreted or used old documentation, we need to change that documentation from a generative AI perspective.
Oh, so you mean that there is continuously someone to review about that,
Yeah,
to make sure the quality of information is still
that's right.
there. And is it part of the chatbot itself to monitor some information that missing?
If information is missing, that will be something which gets notified in the sort of the reporting solution. So that will definitely come out very easily.
Okay. Do you have something that you can show us? What is the dashboard look like for the chatbot of AVAYA?
I don't have it here with me at the moment. There are some tools which, let me see if I can pull out one.
Maybe Juliet, you want to say something?
Yeah, one thing that just now when we talk about the hello answer, is it something like to reduce the
Answer, is incorrect answer.
okay, hello answer, the incorrect answer. I think that is the role of the contact center agent as well, because typically if we implement a bot, we can actually put two streams, right? The bot for agent or the bot for customer, right? If we put the bot for customer, actually the customer when come into our bot, their objective is to get their problem resolved, right? When we put the bot to the agent or the bot agent assist, we call it, right? The similar use case intent that we can use for the agent, but for the agent, maybe we give them one more role, is that when you ask the bot and the bot don't give the answer, you should feedback. I think how to feedback into put into the fixing the bot, that will be very helpful, because rather than the persons that yes, we have the few dedicated agent people that is fixing the bot, but sometimes maybe they have to involve people from contact center as well as the to close the loop, basically to respond back as the group. So the agent itself is the user of the chatbot itself. I think that will help the improvement or the chatbot to become more efficient, because when the bot fail to the agent, actually the agent know what if they should know roughly what are the right answer, or give the feedback faster. So I think it's the combination of the efforts to basically have the agent be part of the bot development as well. I think that is one fix that I see, that how it will can grow the bot efficiency faster. And yeah, one thing that I also see, there are one questions is from Asuransi Astra, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a new model of AVAYA chatbot model in one picture. It will help us to understand your solution model. Oh, Ibu Lina, do you mean that a new model, or is it like
Oh,
you want to see the
yeah.
architecture?
How it look like, yeah. So actually that one has been presented by Joshua when he is demonstrating about that. But maybe Ibu Lina want to have big pictures. What is the combination between AVAYA and Google itself and how it run?
Let me find a slide deck. I do have a slide deck
Okay.
with that in it. Give me
Okay, go
2
ahead.
seconds. Keep talking, but I'll find something
Yeah.
for you.
And keep talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other question from participant? You can open mic as well. Go ahead.
Ya, Pak Andi, this is me, Sareza, Pak Andi.
Oh, Pak Sahreza,
Yeah,
silakan.
just to emphasize the halu, what I mean by halu. So we have experience now in our chatbot. We are using the ChatGPT Turbo 3.5, and then when we implement this, customer asking about our product, for example, or our service, right? And then the bot answer with the very creative answer. And sometimes the scope is out of the scope of the question itself. So there is what we call with the halu. So because the chat, we know chatbot is very clever, right?
Yeah.
So we need the tips how to make this bot just answer about our service and our product. We don't need any creative answer.
It's more of the
Yes.
boundary. It's more on the boundary, because if you use
Yeah.
GPT, Open AI is really the data is really huge. It's really
Yeah.
hard
Correct.
the boundary to limit to answer what it
Yes.
to be, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe Josh, you want to take that? I can. Yeah. Or are you sitting at your dashboard? Then I will. Yeah.
Yeah. Another question from Pak Sudibyo. Go ahead, Pak. Yeah, thank you, Pak Sahreza. Do you have any
Hello,
about that?
can you hear me?
Yes, sure.
Yeah, okay. Good morning, everyone. And I want to share something that hopefully that benefit for others. And next question is about the for Joshua. First thing is about my experience dealing with some chatbot. Yeah, it's tiring, and TikTok, ding dong, no answer. But I follow because this is my I subscribe this membership, for this institution, and they come out with something very interesting. If Joshua suggests to start with the small things, I believe, then I predict these companies do the smart thing, which is take what is the most important things to customer to solve. For example, in this case, is internet subscription. The first time, a few months before, is very difficult to understand, to express my problem and so on. But they provide the prefetch answer, which is very satisfying services. For example, what you call the modem, whether the modem is red light is on or not. If not on, then this is the real problem. Then the bot answer directly, oh, I will send an engineer, blah blah blah, that, and it's finished. So my opinion is this company is very smart because they try to reduce the most the most cases that impacting the services to the company. Not starting the small, maybe starting the small to minimize the risk and so on, but they target what is the most important case and the most impacting case that influence the services. That's the first my experience as a user. Secondly, my question to Joshua. Most of the customer in Indonesia, and especially for the financial services, data is very important. So how the infrastructure, your port solution, where some is related to connected to cloud, right? And the data for the customer numbers and blah 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 is they want to protect the data. How your solution protect data for customer from general information on the cloud, and especially for the banks or insurance, something like that. Thank you.
Yeah. That's a very good question.
Thank you, Pak Sudibyo.
Okay, so the data is only stored within Google if you elect to store it within Google. You don't have to elect to store it in Google. It will just transact, and then Google will essentially delete it. It'll be it won't be at rest, so it'll only ever be in transit. If you do decide to store your data in Google, it does have some benefits, particularly around training, because the Google tools look at some of that data on the actual data stores as well. Google do have multiple certifications. They have SOC 2, they have the ISO 27001. They'll also have a lot of the government certifications as well. So I know here in Australia, there's a special government certification, which doesn't exist anywhere else in the world. And Google have gone and got that for these pieces of, for their solution. I haven't got the details as to what government certifications Google have for Indonesia, but they, I would imagine that they would be able to have a good story to meet any of your security questions as well.
Yeah, so maybe if I can add on, because I think we are working with also some of the financial institution and government in Indonesia as well. And particularly what we choose Google, there are a few other reasons as well, because we work actually very closely with the local Google team. So for instance, that if I have a customers that I want to onboard them as a Google CTA, because it's kind of like a native integration with AVAYA. It's everything through AVAYA, but we work with the local Google team. So for example, like if the bank institution would like to onboard Google into their platform, definitely there is a governance. They also a kind of like infrastructures and connectivity that we will align with the Google local team, particularly to access the platform. To us, as AVAYA, what we are using is their API on the CCAI, what we call it on the contact center AI perspective. But to onboard Google into organizations, typically financial services or things like that, they need one additional effort, which we need to work with the Google team. And we have done that for a few accounts in Indonesia, is that we work together while they are actually going through the governance to make sure that the organization approve the security, what's the level of the access management, what's the level of the security, what's the level of the audit logs that they can allow Google to basically configure. all these things actually will be part of the joint efforts with us and Google team. So when we have the opportunity that which customer would like to have that, first thing that actually as AVAYA, and also one of my role is to basically engage the local Google team to basically ensure that we have a way to basically cover the security and compliance. And Google have also shared with us the list of all the approved Indonesia that is related to OJK and everything. So we have all the how Google addressing all the needs from the different clauses inside the OJK for financial institution. So for whoever in this whoever in this session today, if you have that specific need and you would like to explore, come and you can send an email to me so that we can share more to you about what are the rules and things like that, because it's not the first time we do it, and we have done it for a few customers in Indonesia. I think that's what I want to add on.
Okay, thank you. How about what Sahresa asking about how to border
The boundary of the generative
boundary? Yeah,
Let me share my screen again.
go ahead.
So with that's not it. With the Google component, we don't give it an open slabber. It must pull its information from documents which we provide. And that's how we reduce the amount of hallucination or hulu, which the bot will provide. So the generative AI component will pull the information directly from the documents, the websites, the databases, which the customer has provided the bot. And that's how we reduce the amount of hallucination. Essentially, all of the information is not made up, it's just summarized from the documents which have previously been created.
So is there any limit or boundaries that, when they start to use this, they able to basically restrict it directly? Or is it expansion is better, or like a reduction is better? Means that I open to a very big pool of data, and then when I hit that, then I reduce it, or should I start with a very limited and expanded? Is there any good best practice that we have explored before to this point? Because I think generative AI is quite new and everyone is just trying
Yes.
out. Yeah.
I think we can have 100 different unstructured documents of 2 gigabytes each, and then 1,000 structured documents, which is essentially a JSON file or CSV. I think we can have, I think, 1,000 of them at 10 gig each. So there's a definition of how many of each of these you can have. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head, but I think it's around there. But you can upload as many as you want.
Yeah, but so that it could be, in the sense is that if we're starting with Gen AI, to me it become also a risk for organization, because if they open this to customer, right, and then and they start to open it with customer first, right, it will go into the risk like this hello answer, because and the customer will get like lost into the conversation, right, because it's still part of the bot interaction. So will that be a good idea if all these like Gen AI, if to me, my personal view is that we should be actually using the same way, but we do it with the agents, to use for agents bot assist, it will be better just to open it to customer first. Will that be a better starting point to build the Gen AI?
So that is possible with our Agent Assist, yes.
Yeah.
We will be uploading those documents to Agent Assist. But remember, we can embed a traditional bot interaction with just conversational AI intents,
Mm-hmm.
as well as data stores. So if for some reason it doesn't match the existing intents, it can go back to the data store and then reroutes that interaction back to the intents which we want to collect.
Okay. But Sudhir, maybe sorry, but I didn't see the text. Maybe the setting of the relevancy factor to lose.
Sorry, I didn't quite get you.
Yeah, Pak Sudhir.
Indo aktif banget ya.
Hello.
Yeah, Pak.
Yeah. As my understanding, there's a relevancy whether this answer or the document or the answer, the words and so on is relevant to the question or not. Same thing like when you search something, there's a relevancy. I don't know exactly what is the name, but whether the information is relevant to your question or not.
Yes.
So on the other hand, that the answer is relevant to the question. If too loose, then he will the bot will answer anything like dreaming, you know.
So there are settings around. I can't find it now. There are generative AI. There we go. There are settings around how strict we want to have that data, and so we can change the settings to say we want it very, very strict and not make up any new answers. It needs to come from that document, or we can make it a little bit more liberal and respond with information which it pulls from multiple different documents. So we can actually do that with the configuration in here.
Yeah, the same thing when you search something on the browser and so on, will the most relevant information will appear on the first page, right? Then if you continue below down, there's less relevant to your question. I think maybe because of this setting with the to lose or not. I don't know. It's just my guess only. Thank you.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. And those settings are there.
Okay.
I think this is to Lina question. George, is it?
Yes.
So this is a diagram of how we integrate with AXP. AXP is our cloud-based contact center as a service solution. It accepts not only voice interactions, but also digital interactions. All of those interactions go into the flow, and then we can, and that interaction is held and controlled within our flow. So we have everything around the customer journey, all of those transcripts, everything that happens there. And then we can bridge in the CCAI component where we see fit within that flow. So that node which we dropped in, that node is essentially bridging the conversation out into dialogue flow to get the bot interactions. So that's how we do it for dialogue flow. Under the covers, this is a cloud-to-cloud conversation. You don't have to set up the cloud-to-cloud conversation. AXP is a cloud-based solution, so we look after all that connectivity for you. From a on-premise solution, our on-premise solution, from a voice perspective, has Experience Portal. Experience Portal has the integration for voice, and that voice is using gRPC. That gRPC feed into Google leverages essentially it's a modified HTTPS protocol. Because it's an on-premise solution, you would need to organize the link from the on-premise solution to Google. So whether or not you want it to go over the internet, over a virtual private network, or a dedicated link to Google, that is up to you. But we need a link from the Experience Portal into Google. all of those conversations obviously are controlled within AVAYA, and when we transfer them through to an agent, the agent can get all of the information from that bot as well.
Yeah, so all the voice routing, the agent desktop, and also the performance analytics for the agents all are still within AVAYA. So what we are using Google as the platform is really focusing on the API, where we need the speech to text, text to speech, and also the NLP to basically do the intent recognition, and coming back to AVAYA to do the transfer to the agents, or even to continue the conversations within the IVR or also within the chatbot. So I think we play a very close role. Then of course the next maybe your question is that why AVAYA don't build our own AI. To be honest, we never just maybe you asked the video, but we or maybe this is for you to answer why AVAYA we don't build our own AI engine. Maybe you want to answer this part.
We actually did build our own AI engine, and we looked after it for a while, but with all of the AI components in the market today, it didn't make sense for us commercially to keep that initiative going. From a Google perspective, they produced a better solution than what we did, and their solutions from under the covers, all of their AI stories were being updated much faster than we could update ours. And that's essentially why we've gone to market with Google.
Yeah, and I think one more thing that I can add on is that from my experience working with Google and the other chatbot vendors, I have multiple different use cases and how the alignment, the engagement in between. But one thing that probably I see doesn't mean that other chatbots are not working in AVAYA. We can work similar way. How is it maybe through the typical the NRCP protocol? Just do a text to speech and speech to text conversation. But put that aside, I think we also need a chatbot vendor, the AI, they have a great support in the sense is that to help the customer, right? So what other things that I reckon that our relationship with Google that has been in place is that when if we need a support from them in the sense is that hey now also talk about the process how we grow into a chatbot journey when we start for implementing, and there is a part where we have to reassess and then do the what is it the term again, Joe, from implement. And then there's part of the reassess, right? And,
Yes.
and I think that part. So what Google can also give us is also the training credits. So I have been working with them, and they able to provide me, for example, if I can say that, hey, this customer, they want to build their own chatbot and they want to grow a team, they're able to basically build a chatbot by themselves. So what from Google perspective, what else you can help? So they typically were able to offer me some training credits that I can actually pass to the customer with a limited number of people, obviously, for a free of charge, so that these people can actually attend the academy and attend how to basically build the bot by themselves. And then from them, they can also, grow their capability, because as what you see, George has mentioned in Dialogflow, there's already the user interface, there's already a very extensive, I would say, features available in compared to those in-house built chatbot. Definitely the dashboard, the capability, and the product is growing day by day faster than however I can catch up. I started to use ES, and then now I think with the Gen AI, I already lost touch and to access that. But Google can actually provide that training credit. So you can go to the Google and then learn how to build the chatbot and then grow it. So I think from that kind of support, we think that with this relations moving forward, we can make our customers not just leaving behind that. Because to be honest, AVAYA, we start to help you implement, but to maintain itself, that we really want that roles to be on your side. We can provide a consultancy, but we hope that our customers can take part and then grow that bot, so that it also reduce the cost that they have to pass to AVAYA or to Google, to build the bot itself. Yeah. Any more questions?
Okay. Any more question from the participant? Oh, there is one question from Abimayu. What new that chat would have to offer from the existing conversation? I have been noticed any new technology that can be implemented into existing chatbot. It's just an expansion of the answer from the chatbot because it already used the AI technology.
Okay. The biggest component for chatbots since the start of this year is generative AI. That didn't exist before. Very sparsely used before the start of the year. So that's definitely something which is new. Being able to generate responses based on documentation, how you tell the bot how it wants to react. So that's definitely new. It takes a little bit of the effort away of creating a bot because it creates the bot for you essentially. One of the things which I see will be more beneficial will be bots during the agent interaction. So when an agent is actually interacting with a customer, we will be putting bots involved in that conversation as well. So you can make sure that the agent is saying the right thing, make sure that we can make the right suggestions for those customers as well. So they're the new components which are coming out.
I think it's one more, maybe the use case is about the summarization. I think
Yes.
because previously I think 5 years ago, when I go into a discussions about the bot with my customer, it's more on the conversational. And that time, my customer was asking, okay, can the bot be using by agent as a assistant, as a agent assist? It's really agent assist use case. But I think at that time, the answer is yes, but certain and the limits, right? And I think what it brings very different this year, which is new itself, is really about not just about the conversations, but it also really do the summarization, where typically the contact center agents will spend a lot of time of doing some what I can say like a time to spend on summarizing interactions. And if maybe I can also share my screen just to maybe add on, because I think I did some of this during the presentation as well, is that looking at this as some of the use case that is, to me, is currently new in generative AI, in the sense is that it's really helping the agent assist from the side as the summarizations. I think the summarizations can be two ways. One is really a use case where after the interactions, the generative AI will able to summarize the entire conversation with the customer in just limited in the 100 words. And then after that, they have to attach this summarization to the CRM, to the backend, to basically as a wrap up, as a disposition to the interaction. Another one I see that will be it's new to this use case to contact center is when you have a chatbot interaction on when you are talking to the agent using voice bot, or you are chat with the agent, we chat with the bot. When the bot interaction concluded and the chat escalated to the real agent before the agent actually assists the customer, we can see the summary from the previous interaction on the chat. We don't have to, because currently the previous one is that yes, we can see the history, what the chat bot and the what the chatbot and the customer is doing before route to the agent. But now what's new is that we don't have to scroll up. Maybe our customer already chat with agent for 15 minutes, right? If we have to scroll out what they talk for the 15 minutes, it will spend the agent's time to serve the customer. But with the generative AI use case, I think what is really helpful is that they can take whatever interactions with the bot during 15 minutes, 20 minutes, or maybe just whatever, it can actually summarize into the agent. So when the agent look at a bot summarization, to serve the agent, I think that is really something that is new in the implementation. Otherwise, the conversational AI and things like that, or maybe you see some of the problem solving, or reading from FAQ or things, doesn't seem like it's very new. But these few use case of the summarizations, I think they will be of the top of the focus why generative AI is so into the contact center right now.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other question? If not, I will ask question. Okay. Thank you, Joshua and Juliet, for it seems that already 10:30 and there is no more question from participant. Can we conclude this discussion today? So maybe you want to give tips for the participant how they can start and continue development of Chatbot AI, and what next from AVAYA for for providing a solution for the Chatbot AI, starting with Juliet or Joshua. Ladies first.
Ladies first. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think two things. So I think from concludes today, I think when we talk about Chatbot AI, definitely there is a stream called conversational AI, and also another stream called generative AI. I think these two things, it seems like it's different, but actually what it does is really a combination of the conversation AI that usually talk and then interacts, where the power of the generative AI is really to assist and listening to the real time with all the relevant content, and put in the summarization into it. So to me, is that if you haven't started anything, it's worth to consider to have a combination of these both, so that you can cover the needs when you need to have the bot to conversate, and also you can cover the needs where you need the bot to basically help you to generate the content. So, but if you're already in the middle of the journey, like today you have a bot you built in-house, and then you probably facing some issue when keep maintaining the bot. I think it's also putting a step back to see that, hey, what was the original objective when you built the bot, and then you compare the result. If there is really, really a need to replace the bot, to achieve the higher and better ROI, maybe it's time to do so. But I didn't suggest if you already went into a very deep, maybe fixing something will be more cost efficient. But if it's worth and with the business justifications to replace the in-house build, maybe it's time to consider. I think the last part is that if you need more use case, or how does this being implemented, and things like that, I think you can always come to us, and I think we can advise where things like that. I mean, I'm not sure how many of AVAYA Indonesia team is joining in this call, but at least you can come to me, and I can bridge you to my partners and also to my colleagues in Indonesia to basically support you. And yeah, that's all from in some of the input tips. Maybe Joshua?
Yeah. You've summarized it very well. I don't have much else to say on top of that. Yeah, if you haven't had a play with chatbots, it's not a huge lift. Go have a play with it. We've got a solution for you in any way, shape, or form you want to use it.
I see. Yeah, I noticed from during our conversation that starting chatbot has to be small. Yeah, need to be proper. Yeah, I mean that try it internal first before we launch to the customer, and get experience from internal, especially from the agent, before it's available for the customer. And you also mentioned about the monitoring the accuracy, but we need minimum three competencies, yeah, for this one. Yeah, including how to have a process accuracy, how to continuous development, how to test, yeah, how to test the chatbot continuously. I think is a part of competency required to develop chatbot, yeah. And I think that's all for our discussion today. And hopefully, if you have any question, just contact directly to Juliet Lee. because Joshua is in Australia, so Juliet Lee is responsible for the Indonesia market. Please contact Juliet Lee if you have any question, as well if you have any documentation required and explanation about the Chatbot AI. Please contact directly Juliet Lee at yes, provided the contact in the chat. Thank you very much for sharing today, Joshua. Hopefully, I will meet you again in another discussion of the technology. As well, Juliet Lee, happy to have you here, and see you in another conversation about the technology. And please have if you want to have take pictures together, please turn on your camera so we have documentation about this. Martin, you are joined as well. We have a contact in LinkedIn. Thank you. Pak Rakadana, Mikkel, ya, Rizky, Pak Peri, Pak Gunawan, thank you for joining us. Also Pak Antonius from Indosement, thank you. RBP, what is name? Junita, Pak Kuat, ya, Pak Indra Agung, thank you for joining us. Have text pictures and so we can publish into our website. Pak Sigit Santoso, thank you for joining us as well. Ibu Gracie from Linet, yeah, thank you. Yeah, see you in Malaysia next time. Yeah, we'll join for CC Effect. Yeah. Okay. Who else want to join you? Okay.
Yes.
Documentation, smile, and wow, it's another joining. Bu Gapira, Pak Abimayu, Pak Indra, still driving. Thank you, Pak Indra Suhendra. That's correct. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. It's my friend. Yeah. Very familiar face. Take pictures. 1, 2, 3, go. Yeah. Oh, Bu Astuti join us, Pak Gugun as well. Thank you. Ya, Pak Obi dari Tapera, Pak Ari dari Bank Indonesia. Thank you. Ya, Pak Lutfi also Hari Prakoso. Ya, okay. Thank you for joining us. Anyway, thank you all, and see you next time. Next week we will talking another issue for technology. Come and join us. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.